do 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 do. All right, my test. Let's see. Perfect. All right. What's going on, guys? My name is Divik. Welcome back in to another chill Saturday stream. We're here on Fjorda, and we're taming up some raptors. And man, oh man, oh man, I want to talk about Jurassic World Dominion. I haven't talked about it yet, and I feel like it's about that time. So we're definitely going to talk about it today, and I'm super jazzed. I'm going to leave my RG up there. Hopefully she stays there whilst we try to tame up these guys. It looks like she might stay there. If so, good, good, good. Oh, it's on my bar. Okay. Now, let's see. Now, Dominion. A lot of people have made their statements and blah blah blahs, saying this and that, blah and whatnot. Now, I'm not a hyperly negative person when it comes to my reviews. If I don't like something, I don't like it. But I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, this whole thing was terrible and you shouldn't watch it, don't waste your time, blah blah blah. I'm not the type of reviewer. Okay, I'm the type of reviewer where I'm going to try and at least see some of the good in something before I just hyperly inflate, oh yeah, no, this is terrible, you shouldn't watch it. Because, no, Dominion is actually worth a movie worth seeing at least twice. One time for initial viewing, and then see it again to kind of get a much greater grasp of the film overall. Now, I did see it once already. I have not seen it the aforementioned second time, but I can say with certainty that it is at least worth watching once or twice. And I really enjoyed it. Overall, I think it was worth seeing. And I saw it on Tuesday with Lady Divik. And I gotta say, it was a fun ride all the time, the whole time. I mean, there was a few bits where we actually both of us kind of jumped. So, you know, the thrill aspect of Jurassic is still in this movie. Like, that's not missing at all. The thrill portion of this film franchise didn't die out. And obviously I'm going to get into spoilers, so I'm going to be very, very specific on a few things, and I'm going to get into creatures and whatnot, and all that kind of stuff. So if you haven't seen the film yet, who am I kidding? You've seen it. If you've come to this video, you've probably seen it already. And if you haven't, then what are you doing? But I'm going to try to be as neutral as possible here. I did enjoy the movie overall. There are some bits that with some reviewers I fully agree that it was kind of silly. But I'll get into that when I get into it. Did those two just knock out at the same exact time? I think they just knocked out at the exact same time. What luck. Lovely. Alright, I'm just going to leave the scaffolding right here, because, yeah, the whole reason this is here is so you can jump up here. In fact, you know what, can I make a ladder real quick so other people can use this? Can I make a ladder? Let's see. But yeah, let's just jump right in. Okay, so pros. Start with the pros. The new dinos. They all got their moment to shine. Therizinosaurus, Giga, Pyroraptor, Quetzal. All the major creatures that were showcased. Like, oh yeah, this creature's in here. This creature's in there. Blah 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 blah. They all got their moment to shine, and I feel like they all had a okay amount of screen time. They weren't oversaturated. Like, boom, here's Atrociraptors for like the 50th time. You know, they all have their one sequence to shine, and where I think that falls flat on one of the creatures, but we'll get into that here in just a bit. Now, where that falls flat is with the Giga, but I'll get into that in a second. The Therizinosaurus introduction scene was spectacular, and how let's just call it Teddy Krueger, because that's what I've been calling it on Twitter, and just when I talk about the film, in general. Like, Teddy got enough screen time, I feel, because, you know, Teddy did get involved in the final battle, as we knew going in. Like, come on, we knew already that a creature like that, as cool as the Therizino is designed, that it was going to play a crucial role in the final battle, and it did. It did. It absolutely did. And why did I just put that back? I have no idea. But yeah, no, it was spectacular. The scene with Claire that we got to see in like pretty much all the trailers, it was great. It was very, very good. It was a very intense sequence that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I think it's worth. I think it's worth calling out as a very thrilling sequence, just for the simple fact of, holy cow, that's a Therizinosaurus. It could probably slap the life out of Claire if it really wanted to. And wait a minute, did I just tame 3? Oh wait, no, there's a female. Okay. I mean, there's a female back home too, so like, okay, well, all right, well, we got a raptor pack. Sweet, let's breed them. Probably. I don't know. I need to put all these apex drops down. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let us head on back. I'm going to leave this trap here, so if anybody wants to use it, they absolutely can. So, hey, community trap. It's right here if you're playing on my server. It's right here. So, bring a creature over. Build yourself some cryopods, because I'm not giving people cryopods. That's just silly. And again, I don't know if I mentioned it on last video, but do not upload your creature in a transmitter. Especially if you came from a Lost Island, do not put your creature in the transmitter. Just don't do it. But anyways, I like also how we were introduced to the Giga. It was more like a tease. Like, oh, this creature could, like, oh, the apex predator. Oh, it's Giganotosaurus, and he's just chilling. He's just chilling on the ground, like just sleep, and he wakes up, and like that's our introduction to Giga. It's more like a tease. It feels a lot like Godzilla 2014, the Gareth Edwards film, in which you get little teases of what Godzilla could look like. And you don't see his face, but you see him walk by buildings, you see his tail go by, you see like his legs and whatnot. It felt like that, same energy as that, only it was just the head right there, and he just opened his eyes, and then that was it. Like, that was our introduction to Giga. I felt that was very cool. I did enjoy that. I think it was very nice. But, is there any gripes with Giga? Oh yeah, sure enough. See, now, going into this film, when it was announced that Giganotosaurus and Therizinosaurus were involved in the movie, I remember flipping my lid and being absolutely excited because, see, I've probably said this in streams or / videos before, but Therizinosaurus is my favorite herbivore, and like top 3 best herbivores ever of all time. Therizino is at the absolute top of that list, and the top of the list, and in the top 3 for me as far as carnivores is concerned, is the Giganotosaurus. Now, if you're wondering what the other 2 are, Spinosaurus and Allosaurus. Not saying that T-Rex isn't great. It is, but hyperinflated, and that's too easy. It's too easy to say, oh yeah, Rexy. Oh, the T-Rex. But yeah, no. No, Giga is absolutely my favorite. I do not like that it was killed at the end of the film. I do not like that. Now, sure, that's a trend with the world trilogy at this point, is that the particular bad guy dinosaur or whatever is killed at the end. With the Indominus Rex, we had that with the Indominus. We had that with the what's it called? The Indoraptor. Both of them were killed at the end of the film in very theatric ways, I have to admit. But was it warranted? No, not really. Did I like it? Yeah, I mean the style in which Joker, that's what I've been calling him, Joker was killed, was interesting, because it was killed on Teddy's claws, which, I was spoiled on that matter, because there were some people that were posting leaks and YouTube shorts, and they had that as a thumbnail. I'm like, wait, what? So I knew about that going in, but even after, see, it's one of those things where, like, rewind time to Dark of the Moon, Transformers Dark of the Moon. I knew Ironhide was going to be killed. I knew that was going to happen going into the film, but when you actually see the sequence for yourself, it is a completely different story. Because spoilers for like a movie that's like years old, I guess. Going into that film, when you see, oh shoot, that's Ironhide getting died to death by Sentinel Prime. You see that it happened. When you see it, you're like, oh, well. When you see it for yourself, it's like, oh shoot, yeah, that's Ironhide dead. Like, yeah, no, he's proper dead. Like, holy cow. And yeah, no, it is a shocking turn of events. It is crazy. But when you step back and you realize, holy cow, that's actually quite a lot, because it is. And I just love that sequence overall, because it really showcases that. Well, for that whole series of movies, it's always been that nobody was safe, except for Optimus, B, and Megatron. Because that was kind of the deal going into that, is that those particular characters couldn't be killed necessarily. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. All right, what was I saying? Wait, what was I saying? No, guys, what was I talking about? I got completely derailed by that phone call. Goodness, what was I talking about? I completely spaced on what I was even talking about. All right. Oh yeah, no, Giga. That's right, Giga. I was going into the film. I had thought that Giganotosaurus was going to end up surviving the film some kind of way, and it would end up being like the main carnivorous creature. Because you know what, I kind of thought, because I mean, this was before I knew that Rexy wasn't going to be killed. Because what, and I have a whole thought process on that. Okay, that's water. Drink your water, kids. Now, going into this film, I thought Rexy was going to be killed, or die of old age of some kind. I was hoping she would die. I was hoping Giga would kill her in some fashion, and maybe the Theory would end up ultimately finishing the fight in some fashion. It would be like it would be a very brutal brawl, and the two were just going to go head to head, and maybe both of them survive, but they kind of separate because, mutual respect or something. I don't know. But now that I step back and really think about it, there ain't no way. Ain't no way those two are going to have mutual respect for each other. And plus, I thought Rexy was going to be killed, and there would be a stalemate between the Theory and the Giga. Because, they're two creatures that are very much not old. So I was going in, I was thinking, okay, you know what, maybe they'll just it'll be like a mutual, okay, you know what, we beat the snot out of each other, let's just go our separate ways, type of thing. But this was also before I knew that, Joker just wants to watch the world burn, or whatever the line was. And I don't necessarily see that in the film, and you don't really get enough of the Giga to really see that. it's not in the film enough, because you get your little scene, you get your tease scene, you get a very, very brief confrontation between him and Rexy, in which basically he just bullies her. Like, I'll just say it outright. Joker just straight up bullies Rexy because she's just like eating this deer or whatever, and so he just shows up, bites her on the nose, and she just like pisses off. He's like, "All right, fine, take your stupid or whatever it was. I think it was a deer. Yeah, it was a deer." He's like, "Oh, just take your stupid deer. I didn't want it anyway." She just kind of leaves. So then, fast forward to the end of the film. Now, she shows up again, and now she's like, "Okay, you know what? You bit my nose. I'm not happy about that. So we're gonna fight." I mean, that's a very bland and pedantic way of saying it, but like that's basically it. That's a very like bland way of saying it, but yeah, no. He's like, "Okay, you know what? I'm upset about my nose biting, so we're gonna fight now." And it is kind of a cool fight, and plus one thing I think is universally agreed for this film is that the skipping of the Cretaceous sequence, the prologue, in the actual film was a mistake. Because it absolutely was a mistake. That should not have been skipped. I ended up harvesting all the things, so I need fiber. Yeah, that sequence should not have been taken out of the film. When I was going into it, it started with, I think, the Mosasaurus sequence. And it was like, wait, what? Why would you start with the Mosasaurus scene? That would make sense if it was like after or something. Like, wait, what? And I forgot I had an Apprentice freaking RG saddle blueprint that I could have been using. All right, but I don't know. I just think that was kind of silly. Now, if you had kept that in, now it kind of puts into context one of the lines that was stated by Alan Grant, which, by the way, excellent at this film. By the way, love his character. Good to see him and the other two again. I'll get into those guys in a second. But yeah, no. I think it was very silly to have, him say, "Oh yeah, this isn't about us," talking about the rivalry between Giga and Rex and the T-Rex. If you had the prologue in the film, it would contextualize that line, and it would make a whole lot more sense. Because if you did not watch the prologue, for whatever reason, why would you not watch the prologue, you forehead? Come on now. But let's just say you didn't watch the prologue. If you didn't see that sequence, you would have no idea what Grant was talking about. You're like, wait, what? What do you mean this isn't about us? Wait, what are you talking about, right? Like that line wouldn't make sense. But if you did watch the prologue and you see the movie, it's like, wait, hold on, why is that? That still doesn't make any sense because the prologue wasn't in the film. And so I did hear tell that there is a plan for the extended cut of this film. Wow, I crafted that really, really fast. There's an plan for an extended cut of the film, and it's going to contextualize some stuff a little bit better, which I think is good. And I'm thinking that the prologue will be a part of that extended cut. And if it's not, that's a mistake, and it absolutely should be, because the prologue was amazing. I think it's like, excuse me, it's just out there on YouTube now, so anyone can kind of see it. But if you haven't seen the prologue, go watch it. And if you're going to see the film, now I highly recommend this, but if you're going to see the film, I do recommend watching the prologue and then going to see the film, or like watch the prologue before the movie even starts. Go see watch the prologue, and then you'll look up and watch the movie. Another tip. Do not drink anything. Do not drink anything. Like maybe before the movie, take a quick visit to the bathroom, but do not, I repeat, do not drink anything. Because this is a 2.5-hour movie, and I made the mistake of, because, me and Lady Div, we get concessions, because of course you do. We always get this giant, cherry Slurpee. I don't know if that's a thing in, like, other places, but Every time we go to the theater, we get this giant, big cherry Slurpee thing that we end up sharing, right? Because duh. And we ended up drinking that thing down like half. Well, drank that thing like halfway down, and it was like the last 30 minutes. I think like all the cast had like united at some point, like the old cast and the new cast had like united, and I'm sitting there trying not to think about the fact that I really need to pee. I just want to throw that detail in there because just don't drink anything. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. As my guy Joey would say. Shout out to Joey. Yeah, just don't drink anything. Just don't do it. Because you'll be uncomfortable the entire time, and it's not going to be great. It won't be great. Trust. It's not going to be a good time. Just don't drink anything. Just be chill. Maybe towards the end of the film, maybe the last half hour or so, then drink something. But at the start, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna upset yourself. Just don't do it. But yeah, no. Overall, though, I think all the dinosaur stuff was great. I think overall, I feel like there's a lot of things that people will point out. Oh, this is stupid. Oh, this is stupid. No, you're just a forehead. But here's the thing. Right? Jurassic Park movies aren't really compelling films. They are in some ways, but here's the fact of the matter, right? If you're going into these films expecting logic, and by the way, I'm doing computer things, by the way, if you're wondering, if you're expecting there to be some kind of form of logic to these films, there is a little bit, but there isn't going to be any real world logic that would be completely understood. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And it's one thing. It's a minor thing, but there's one bit of dialogue from one of the I'm gonna say protagonists. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm gonna say there's a line from one of the protagonist characters that's like that contextualizes the difference between biosyn and what's it called? InGen. There's a line in there that really contextualizes the difference between biosyn and InGen, in which they say, we don't do the whole DNA splicing thing, which I'm not sure about. I'm not sure if that's actually factual, because we know that Therizinosaurus has very good eyesight. At least most of the prehistoric creatures have a good eyesight. So why then does it appear that Teddy Krueger is blind? There's a bit where you get a close up of Teddy's eyes, and it looks like he's blind of somehow. So if that's the case, and by the way, I realized later that I ended up having two male stegos. Rip. There's a bit where you get a real good close up of Teddy's eyes, and it appears that he's blind of some kind. So it's like, and like various bits when you see the Therizinosaurus, because I am coming back to that guy, you hear these like that. It's like chopping, like click noises. I can't actually do them because I'm not that creative with animal noises. But you hear these clicks that sounds like it could be echolocation. And now it's never stated outright in the film that it's echolocation, like at all. It's not stated at any point. Oh yeah, no, that's echolocation. Like it's never stated. So if it is, and they just didn't say anything about it, that's weird. So I don't necessarily know if that line actually holds any water, because Therizinosaurus was not blind, and Giganotosaurus did not have as far as we know right now, Giganotosaurus did not have crocodilian scales. I mean, it looks cool. I mean, because the rule of cool is always a thing with the Jurassic. So I don't know if he really had crocodile scales along the back there. But if he did, I don't have any cryopods. But if he did, if it did, let's say Giga did have crocodilian scales. That's the most screen accurate Giga we've ever seen then. Let's just say, for the sake of conversation, that it absolutely did have crocodilian scaling along the back, like Joker does. Then that's the most screen accurate dinosaur we've gotten ever in a movie. Now, I'm not going to say in a show, because, freaking Prehistoric Planet exists. And that's a whole thing that's like, oh yeah, no, that's just like top notch. I want to sit down and watch that again, because I definitely want to talk about that. Because Prehistoric Planet, excellent. Now, as far as design choices, speaking of the Therizino, because I want to get into design choices for that, I like it. A lot of people say, oh, this design is crap, or oh, this design sucks, or blah 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 blah. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't, because you're just being a pedantic nutcase about it. Because, oh, this isn't my Jurassic Park, it makes stupid design decisions. They literally contextualize why, like, the OG Jurassic dinos don't have the scalings, because they literally always, like, oh, yeah, the gene sequences were always, like, messed up, so they, like, had to fill in the gaps. And the world just outright says, no, there's a reason they're not accurate, and that's exactly why. So, what are you complaining for? It's kind of silly. And I love it when, people make criticisms of the film that were answered directly by the film. Like, for example, there's a big trend. There's a few times where Owen does the raptor hands to, like, different creatures. And, like, that trend kind of started, I feel like, but with How to Train Your Dragon with Hiccup, putting his hand out to the terrifying dragon thing that's, like, in front of him, and he, like, puts his hand out to, like, hey, I'm chill. But see, there's an Instagram video, right? I found it because I was talking to Lady Div about the movie afterwards. Because after I'd watched some reviews, I pointed this out. I was like, there's literally an Instagram video where he contextualizes and makes sense of why the raptor hand thing is actually super important. And even, like, real world trainers do the raptor, I'm going to call it the raptor hand because that's the easiest thing to say. The raptor hand thing actually has a real life purpose, because he even explains it in the Instagram video as, oh, you're making yourself as big as possible, and you're putting your hand directly where your eye is, so then you're making yourself huge. Right? So when you're facing down a raptor, you've got your hand in front of you, and actually, you can't see me obviously, but I'm doing the movement, but you literally have your hand in front of you, and you're making yourself look massive. So plus you got a nice wide stance, as Owen does in Jurassic World. It's a very wide stance, and he's staring down Blue, and the other Raptor Squad members. Charlie, Echo, and I think Delta. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but yeah, no. Whenever he's, like, facing off with them, he's got his hand in front of them, and the reason he's doing that is, again, to make himself appear as big as, holy cow, that other basilisk came out of nowhere. He's making himself as big as possible on purpose, so that way he can, like, just be as big as possible. And so he does that several times throughout the film to appear big as possible. Because when you're face to face with a creature, the first thing they're going to notice is the big hand in their face. So, and then you see your eye. So they're going to associate that hand as being part of your head, which doesn't necessarily make any sense from a human perspective. Let's work together, Allosaurus. Let's kill this thing. Never mind. It's an alpha basilisk, by the way. But it makes sense in the film, because of course he's going to want to be that was a level 600. That actually makes a lot of sense. Wait, did I just get a bunch of rune stones for that? Oh, holy cow, I sure did. Very nice, very nice, very nice. I'm going to keep all these alpha drops. Boom, 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 boom. Very good, very good. And also, I did have an upgraded saddle. That's probably helping me big time. But yeah, no. So I feel like that's a non-issue, and you're just making it an issue so you can have something to complain about. Even though I'm gonna tame that. Even though the film outright external media and even the film itself and a little bit explains the reasoning as to why the raptor hands is even a thing. So that's a non-issue. The movie outright explains it. So you're complaining about things that don't need to be complained about because the movie outright explains it, and you're just not paying attention. And anyone who like complains about things that are explained are just, yeah, as I said, just not paying attention to the film. It's like, did we watch the same movie? Because I have a full understanding of why the raptor hands was even utilized. And they had to use the raptor hands because, as you guys know, the Blue's kid Beta, as she was named by Maisie. She was named Beta by Maisie. Which, why Beta? I don't know. Why not Beta? Beta's a cool name. But anyways, yeah, I think that's silly. They even get Alan Grant involved in the Raptor hands thing, and oh, that was a max level rips in the chat. They even got Alan Grant, the guy who literally specialized in freaking the behavior of raptors, talking to Owen about raptor behavior, and it is like it's kind of cool. It's really cool. And you know what? I want to take some time to kind of talk about the human cast now, because I spent the last 30 or so minutes just talking about the dinosaurs and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. It's really cool. I dig it. I really do. I really do. I think it's really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff there. But what the heck happened over here? There's a lot of death and destruction. Holy cow. Don't mind if I do. I'm just going to sneak in here and just kind of steal some corpses here. Don't mind me. Wait, are you a good level? Oh, okay. I'm not going to mess this up. I'm not going to mess this up again. I killed that guy I killed a 580 by accident last time I was here. I will not make the same mistake again. Okay. Let's go up here. I will not make that. I mean, yes, it's a trike, but it's an extra. Come on, I gotta have it. Oh. But anyways, human cast. Owen, still as stoic and cool as ever. Claire, still as. I'm not gonna say Claire is an interesting character in this film, because we're introduced to Claire as she was doing pretty much the same thing she was doing in Fallen Kingdom, essentially. Like, she's trying to save dinosaurs because there's like this is like a illegal breeding what the? Are you serious? Was it low on health or something? Oh, it probably was. Okay. Well, I feel stupid now. But yeah, no, Claire's still in the kind of the same. She's like making amends for like her actions at Jurassic World and whatnot, and I don't feel like that's necessarily necessary anymore. Because I mean, like she did what she could, and she's doing what she can now, by protecting Maisie and whatnot. And I think that whole character beat is kind of over and done with. So there's really no reason for her to feel sorry for herself. Like, oh, I did a bad when I wrote for a Jurassic World, so I gotta make amends for myself. You really don't. But I mean, okay. I mean, if you feel that way, and the film outright says, "Hey, yo, you're trying to make up for what you did at Jurassic World," and that's commendable. But the method in which you're doing so doesn't work anymore. That's essentially, and the movie just outright calls her on the carpet for it. And it's kind of funny, actually. And this is a cool looking freaking stego. I like that look of that. A shame you're low level and male. But yeah, no, Claire's fine. Claire's fine, and she even gets a little action sequence with the Atrociraptors, which I didn't talk about, but they're cool. They're cool. Each of the new creatures, as I said at the top of the review here, they all get their time to shine. And Atrociraptors are actually terrifying. like, holy cow, I knew she wasn't going to die, but there was a few bits where it looked like, oh yeah, no, Claire is totally screwed. Like, oh my gosh, how is she gonna get out of this? That's where like the new character Kayla comes in, and she's fun. She is fun. Like, I really like Kayla's character. She's fun. She's entertaining. She's hilarious. And also, she was like Air Force. So hey, Air Force hanging out with the Navymen. Cool. So you get that whole little character beat here, which is nice, which is very nice. We got people from different branches of the military kind of interacting. I know, you don't really expect that. Because in order for the Therizino sequence to happen, they had to eject Claire, right? So they eject Claire, and we get the Therizino sequence with her, and then we get, oh god, I saw that out of the corner of my eye. Nope. Oh, you're low level anyway. Oh, sheesh. The rule of 2 with these basilisks, I swear. I mean, you can't breed these things, so I mean, shame. But it's always the rule of 2 with those guys, I swear. But you got your different bits here, and it's cool. It's just cool overall. Now, I don't necessarily have anything wrong with any of the new characters. We even get the return of Franklin. Oh gosh, that's a villain. That's a villain facing off with a Iguanodon. Hello. But is there anything wrong with the new characters? No, not really. Now, I wouldn't say this is necessarily new, but we do get the return of Dodson, which is played by a different actor entirely, because the guy that did play Dodson is actually in jail. I didn't know that. But, oh. And the guy that they have playing him, I forget the name of the guy already, because, the writing for Dodson is weird. Because he's like a socially awkward, like, Steve Jobs or something, right? And, like, there's a little bit where he has, like, a temper tantrum or something to that effect. And he's kind of, like, throwing his arms back and forth in, like, anger. It's so funny looking. And it's like, is this our main antagonist? There's another chick who... there's this main chick, right? I forget her name, the actress's name. But it's the chick in the white dress, right? It's the white dress chick. She's more intimidating than Dodson is, and she only has like one scene in the movie. One real scene, and she's like sending the Atrociraptors after people. Like, that's pretty much all she does. By the way, there's Cactus right there. That's all she does. She just does like the laser pointer and like, okay, go kill them. And that's all she does. And have like intimidating expressions. But why is she a more compelling villain than the actual main human villain? Like, what? It's so funny. It's funny to me. It's very funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it is funny. But also, the Dilophosaurus do we get a very cool, like, they get a couple scenes. And, I didn't talk about them earlier because the Dilophosaurus are the creatures that end up killing Dodson. And there's actually 3 of them. And I'd say he had it worse than Nedry when he died, because Nedry was killed by 1. Dodson was killed by 3. So, it was 3 of them kind of just ganged up on him, and, like, they all did, like, their, like, venom spit thing that, Dilophosaurus doesn't actually do. But it was cool. It was terrifying. What a way to go. I'd say he had it far worse, because all 3 of them were just, like, spitting at him. Like, and you know what? When Claire and Owen do reunite, there's a brief moment where Owen grabs the it's a 580 vulture, right? There's a bit where he grabs the vulture, or not the vulture, the Dilophosaurus by where the venom sac is, and kind of like throws it back. And there's seriously some Twitter nuts They'd be like, "Oh, that was stupid. How would he know that?" I mean, they weren't really shown in actuality, but you do realize Dilophosaurus was at Jurassic World, right? And Owen is there as an animal behavioralist. He trained dolphins. So knowing the weaknesses of creatures and how to deal with them should a breakout take place is absolutely in line with his character. So him knowing about that and him grabbing them by the venom sac and then throwing it backwards, to get it away from Claire, that's smart. That's ingenuity, and that's brilliant, and that's definitely a good way to get rid of a Dilophosaurus that spits venom. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm flailing my arms in frustration here because I don't understand how that's an issue. That's like the biggest non-issue of the film. Like, that's not really a problem. What are you talking about? That's literally... Oh, Jesus. That's literally in line with Owen's character. He worked at World to study the raptors and train them. So, of course, he's also going to brush up on knowledge of the other creatures. Why would he not? Why would he only focus on specifically the raptors? Oh, that's a high-level Carno there. Interesting. Maybe I can get it. But, okay, let's help it out here a little bit. Oh, I couldn't pick it up. Alright, let's get rid of that. And whoop, come here. Okay, I'm sorry. I just think I think there's a lot of non-issues that people have with Owen just in general, just because it's Chris Pratt. They're literally just trying to find reasons to hate on Chris Pratt. The dinosaur, the raptor hand signal, that's a non-issue because it's literally explained by film and in reality as to why that's a thing. Come on now. Why are you whining about that? And just grabbing the. I even said on Twitter, like, no, that caught me off guard, and that was like very, very smart. Of course he'd know about that. But the rest of the original trio. What can I say about the original trio? And by the way, Maisie was great too. She's a typical teenager, but they do double down on the whole clone plot, and it's made even weirder. But I don't want to get into that really because I don't really fully understand that plot line. And I don't want to understand that plot line really. But it was just made more confusing. I'm just like, what? But anyways, Alan Grant, Ellie Sadler, Ian Malcolm, they are still as spectacular as you would expect. I have nothing bad to say. See, there's a brief moment in towards the end of the film when Ian is flagging down the the Giga. There's a moment where it's like, oh shoot, is he going to die right now? I mean, no, obviously he doesn't. There's none of the OG. If the OG cast was killed for any reason, I feel like a lot of folks would be mad about that. And not to say it's not warranted, but that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense actually if that was the case. And good grief, these creatures are refusing to give me twins. Anyways, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot with the human cast that's just like, wait, really? That's a problem? Alan Grant is thrown into the plot in a very interesting way because the whole locust thing was kind of the big inciting incident to get like all the cast together. And I mean, Claire, Owen, and Maisie have like pissed a hole to do with that, so I don't really understand that completely. But I mean, that's how why Ellie meets up with Alan, and then they meet up with Ian, who invited Ellie, and then she brings Alan along because Of course, you gotta bring the original trio together, so then you can then have the original trio meet the new trio. Well, duo, I guess, if you're not counting Maisie. Which why would you not? Poor heads. You got the way they set that up is very odd, and there's a really good emotional beat here when the world trio are like brought back together again, because Claire and Owen are basically Maisie's parents, and they're like action hero parents and whatnot. So I mean, it's fine. It's fine for what it is, and honestly, overall, the human cast was just great. I love how they kind of centralized Ian's character around like, hey, let's figure this thing out, and the twist that one of the Biosyn guys, I forget what his name is. It's not Franklin. It's the other guy whose name escapes me. I can't think of his name, but it's right there. He's like the second in command guy. He's like super smart. He's the one that told Ian about the whole Locust plot, and then Ian told Ellie, who then told Grant about what was happening, and it was just like, wait, what? And then it turns out, wait, no, hey, I'm on your side. Let's go. Like, oh, okay. But the humans cast was fine. Kayla being a pilot as well. Go back to Kayla, who is like my favorite of the new cast members. Let's be honest. The way, because she's a pilot, right? So, and she has a lot of quips. In fact, she has a funny moment with Owen after they meet up with the Pyroraptor, right? He's like, "Oh, you good?" "Yeah, no, I'm totally fine. Totally not scarred at all, or something to that effect." It's like, "Yeah, you are, girl. Quit lying." Quit lying, because that was an intense little sequence. But yeah, no, but the whole how the human cast ends up meeting up with each other, it's fine. I don't really see any issue with it. It's fine for what it is, and I mean, it makes sense. I mean, technically, I guess the new cast meeting the old cast through Maisie kind of makes sense, I suppose. But those interactions with like, it was like, you made a promise to a dinosaur? Yeah. Why? Like, of course the old cast would find that odd, because I mean, they were attacked by raptors and Rexes and all that stuff, and all the different stuff, all the different creatures and whatnot. So it's like, wait, you gonna make a promise to a dinosaur? But yeah, nope. And here's that same tech stego I was gonna tame. But overall, and as far as cons, I didn't. The Giga didn't get enough screen time. Dodson's character should have been written way better, and I would have liked a less convoluted reason to bring the new cast and the old cast together. I mean, I kind of praised it right now, but overall, the thought process is kind of silly. Like, they couldn't. I mean, it would be even sillier if they like accidentally happened upon each other. Like, oh, hey, I know you. You're that guy from this thing, and you're that lady from this thing. Like, oh, and I've read your book on blah blah blah. You get a bit on from Owen. They're like, oh, I read your book, Alan. Read one of Alan's books. It's like, oh, well, cool. Well, but yeah, overall though, it's fine. It's fine for what it is. And again, I recommend seeing it a second time. You get your first viewing, then get your second viewing to kind of really try to understand the film, and then kind of notice the finer details in the background. Yeah, but I came over here looking for villains and stuff, but I ended up finding nothing. What rip? But anyways, guys, that's kind of my convoluted-ish thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion. Overall, it was great. The new creatures were great. The new cast, meaning the old cast, was as good as it could get. Now, do I want this series to continue? I think we're good here for a little bit. Let's let Camp Cretaceous come out and see what they do with that final season. But yeah, that's going to do it for today. Today, guys, hopefully y'all did enjoy. Let me know, what did you think of Jurassic World Dominion? Spoilers, all that stuff in the comments. I don't really care. Let me know what you think. I want to know. I want to know. And just, I don't know, just let me know. Let's have a dialogue about it. But remember, kids. Remember. The 5th of November. Nobody panic. Thank y'all so much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Be excellent to each other. And you stay classy, San Diego. Haha, nice talk.